Episode 5, Contorno, written by Tom DeVille, Brian Fuller and Steve Lightfoot, directed by Guillermo Navarro. Welcome to Fate and Circumstance, a Hannibal fan podcast. I am your host, Felix Fanfaron Fern, and these are my co-hosts.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Melisa Suzan, and I feel like someone wore a really thick sock to the gym and accidentally threw it a little bit too far behind a locker, and then it didn't get seen because it was so far back and it just kind of stayed there for a few months. And then someone found it and was like, oh my god, and just lobbed it across the changing rooms. I feel like that. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Hello, I'm Shaira Bambi, and I said hello to Ellie in front of Melissa.
That's
Hello.
fine, babe. You say hello whenever you want.
It was great. We got like a chorus of hellos. It was wonderful.
Hello.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you, Melissa, for painting that beautiful word picture.
Yeah,
very,
anytime.
very Pacific. Awesome.
Very specific. We've had like a break between recording and when I normally do the episode prep, so I haven't got a fucking clue what I've written, so this episode is going to be a little bit unhinged. I apologise.
Chaos.
Chaos reigns.
Oh.
But we will start off with our normal, which is doing a fanfiction shout out. So the first piece will be read out by Shaira, and this piece of fanfiction is called Looked Up at the Sky and It Was Maroon, and it is written by Maid of Bees.
Not the bees. Okay, I like bees. So, let's go. Are you okay? Will asked softly, covering the wound in a flock of kisses, gentle and painless and barely there, like he was precious cargo. Did I hurt you? Yes, Hannibal said. He could barely hear himself. Tried to clear his throat, found it took too much effort. Thank you. A quiet huff from Will, maybe an attempt at a laugh. For what, hurting you? I didn't mean. Hannibal cut him off with a small shake of his head. You did. Don't start lying now. He swallowed painfully, wondered where the glass of water had ended up. Yeah, Will agreed amicably, and I'm not sorry. Hannibal smiled, wished he could see Will's face, but rolling over was a laughably impossible task, like summiting Everest. Good, you shouldn't be, he drifted for a moment before remembering what he'd been saying. For the picture. Ooh, I wonder what's happening here.
Yeah, so I appreciate out of context this probably makes no sense.
Yes.
Nothing makes sense to me ever.
Fair. But I thought it was quite a fun excerpt. In case you couldn't guess by the pain comments, this is after incredibly violent sex. This fanfic starts very differently to that. I was going to say it's only a short one. It's 15,000 words. So it's a one shot, but it's a long one shot. But this is from 2023. And this fanfic has one of the most wonderfully unhinged starts ever. It's about Will accidentally sending Hannibal a dick pic.
Okay.
And Hannibal's subsequent intense mental breakdown over the fact. And just like...
That sounds about right, to be honest.
Amazing.
It's so funny. It's him like going through various stages of how to deal with the situation, including like trying to murder anyone that Will has ever interacted with, who the picture was actually intended for, potentially. It's really good.
All of that over a dick pic.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
We've seen how Hannibal reacts to things.
True.
Like, who are you sending dick pics?
It's so good.
Why weren't they meant for me?
It's so funny and unhinged. It's wonderful. So I highly recommend.
Yeah. Well, I just thought Will stabbed him, which isn't much different from them having sex anyway. So
Stabbed him with his dick.
Stabbed him with his dick. Yeah.
Penetration was involved either way.
Either way, exactly.
Gay sex.
Ooh.
And now for something completely different. So the next fic is called This Dangerous Game by Miss Disoriental. If you would like to read this, Melissa.
I apologise for how this is going to sound.
I believe in you.
Cool, thanks. Will glances at him with a newfound compassion. imagining what it must be like to wake up one morning and find yourself steering a murder investigation whose gravity and grisliness has warranted international attention. Yes, he says sympathetically. I saw the papers were covering it while I was in New York. In fact, he's well aware that it was being reported in papers within virtually every single state, but is careful not to point this out. New York, says Crawford. That's nothing. It's been reported in Mexico, Jamaica, South Africa. Recently, it was being written about in New Zealand. Will opens his mouth to say shit and converts it into shocking at the last moment, then glances down at the clippings from the Bush Advocate which Crawford is pushing towards him and gives him an involuntary shudder. The headline proclaims London murders, further atrocities, great excitement, in shrieking capital letters, and he can just about make it out. It is said that the mutilation of the body of the murdered woman in the Oldgate district eclipses the horrors in connection with similar outrages in Whitechapel before pushing them away again. That was so difficult.
You did
it.
very
That
well.
was really
But I
well.
think that was the most cohesive I've ever read in my entire 29 years of living my life, even though I could only read at like a few years old, but that's not the fucking point.
Maybe the key is illness.
Yeah, true.
maybe.
Just balls to the walls, fuck it. Ill.
Yeah.
Can you guess what that fic is about?
Is that a
Someone
murder
died.
in London?
Yeah.
Where
There's some
Bedelia
keys.
got killed?
There's some keys to what?
Bedelia gets killed by, I don't know. I don't
Also,
know.
who calls it the Oldgate District?
No, it's written by an American. I'm pretty sure. I could be
Yeah.
wrong. I think it's written by an American.
That makes sense, because the only Oldgate there is like Oldgate East, and that's it. There's no north, south, east,
It is-
north, south, or west.
To be fair, it's also set a very long time ago.
Yeah, okay, maybe I could be wrong. I
does-
don't know shit, even though I live here.
Does mutilation of the body and Whitechapel give you any clues?
Oh.
You bitches not know your history, Jesus Christ. It's about Jack the Ripper.
Oh, I
okay.
see. Oh, yes, yeah.
So this is
That's more embarrassing for me, given I am like a Londoner.
a Londoner and you like true crime. I'm very disappointed. in
I
you.
like
Do
horror
you
and I
know
like
what?
Jack the
I
Ripper.
really liked my favourite part of London Dungeon was always what's it called? Was always the Jack the Ripper part. And it was so good when it was under London Bridge. It changed to South Bank and it's so much smaller. But in the Jack the Ripper part, they had a load of like attention on Jack the Ripper, and there was one part where you were in this room that it was meant to be like outside of a house, like somewhere in like really old 1800s, whatever, and then these sort of wooden window type things like opened out, and there was real fire that just like burst out. It was sick. It was like my favorite part.
That's very cool.
It was so cool, and now it's shit.
I would just like to apologise to Mr. Oriental, who is actually from the UK.
Oh.
Whoops, sorry.
So I can't blame Americanisms.
Okay, well, you probably know more than me, which isn't hard to achieve anyway. So Oldgate District is probably right in some sort of way.
Yeah.
I mean, they may not be a Londoner though as well.
I'll take everything back regardless. You're still UK. You're not American.
I feel silly that I didn't notice. I didn't notice because I was just thinking it was placed in present day instead of in the past.
Which is fair, you know.
Yeah.
Of the murdered woman. Okay, yeah. I think if it said something about her insides being on the outside, I might have picked up.
No,
that, 'cause that's the only thing I remember.
No. Neither of you are getting away with this. Whitechapel should have given it away.
Yeah, like
Nah.
yeah.
Not letting you get away with that.
No.
But yeah, this fic is from 2016. Unlike the other fic, this is over 270,000 words. And I think it's the first long fic I read, because when I first started reading Hannibal fanfiction, I only read short ones because I have a short attention span. And I didn't think I would like really long ones. And I was like, oh, Jack the Ripper, that's interesting. And I started reading it, and it became one of the most addictive things I've ever read.
That's cool.
because it's so long, it goes into like really interesting, in-depth stories to do with both the time and also the characters, and how or if Hannibal is involved. The answer is not what you would think. It's really good. Yeah, highly recommend. It's one of those like well-known fics. It's got like over 500,000 hits, for example, and over 5,000 comments.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very good. I will say, for anyone who's interested in reading this who has dyslexia, this is not an attack or an insult towards Mr. Oriental, but they use incredibly long paragraphs. So just be aware you might get a little bit confused and it might take you a little while to read it. Really, really long paragraphs, but it's worth going through that because it's so good.
I accidentally lose concentration when I'm reading when I don't mean to. I'm literally looking and reading and I'm looking and then I'm like, I don't remember what I just read and I have to go back. Sometimes I do that like 2-3 times.
Oh, I do the same.
Yeah, there's this thing called dyslexia.
Yeah.
Where that's very common. I'm sure it happens to other people as well, but yeah, that's one of the like big symptoms of dyslexia. I have to remember how we do this. What did you think of the episode?
Cool. I don't know. Can I be brave again?
Always.
I feel like they're starting to be like a bit messy, but like still cohesive. So I'm very like confused. But like there's an element of like there's so much going on, but it all just does it in like a roundabout way. It's kind of like someone writing an essay for uni and they kind of did it on the last like couple of days and it makes sense, but it is a little bit like we kind of threw things in. Am I making sense? I just feel like I'm going on 8 different journeys while I'm watching the episodes now. This season is very different.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not as spicy as the previous season. I did enjoy the episode. I was sad about the detective. But it was inevitable. He was going to get himself killed.
Yeah.
Will called it immediately upon meeting him.
Mm-hmm. That you're going to die, bitch. Which is valid because you were warned, mate, by multiple people. And then it was a good episode overall, and yeah, it does feel like it's setting up for something. It's setting up things for more than a standalone episode. Like the other episodes have been made very standalone, especially in first season 1 and season 2. But it's still such a good episode too, and it's nice to see Jack back again and doing things. It was also very sad to see him do other things like we'll talk about that later. But yeah.
I don't think I even have a specific Jack talking point. So if there is anything you want to say about Jack, do I have to check now? I don't remember what I wrote. Yes, I don't have a Jack talking point, so please feel free.
Yeah, it was sad to see Jack. It was so sad to see Jack throw away both his ring.
Yeah, you two when we first watched it really didn't like that.
Why would you do that? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I get it and I can't really judge because I've never lost my wife, but like bro, why are you that in your feels you're gonna like throw away your ring like what you did?
Yeah, I feel like I don't have a memorabilia, but I'm not everyone, so I can't really.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's very like understandable to feel confused about that in terms of like I would assume like the more common thing would be I want to keep my ring. Oh my god, he's throwing his ring. Why is he doing that? I feel like a lot of people would initially think that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't have an answer either. I don't know why they decided to make that a thing he does.
Yeah.
I feel like it was for the dramatics.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose in a way, he is in a way going against Bella's wishes. I don't know if it's anything to do with that, because he seems pretty happy in himself, like, and his decisions, but he is effectively going against Bella's wishes, because he's not legitimately looking after himself.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
So this episode Actually, no. Before I do this, I have a couple more things to say. One, yes, this series has received a lot of criticism for the general structure and the pacing, and people in general think it feels very rushed.
Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not the only
Both
one.
halves of it, yeah. It like season 2 benefits from having both a more long-running plot than season 1, but it still has little bursts of short plots. So you get a few killers of the week, and you get the Mason version thing, lots of little stories, and I think the pacing works a lot better.
It's also like that, and like the other parts of the style of it, I think, works a way more similar between 1 and 2 than there is to 3. I feel like even more so, maybe like even just like the shots, the way that it's cut, the way that it's like graded. Like, I'm being very specific on like visuals, but like it feels like everything about it is so different. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they had more of a bigger team on it, and maybe like different people in certain aspects that maybe are like changing it a little bit, if that makes any sense. I just feel like the vibes are so different.
It does.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a big team difference for this series. I think a lot of it, to be honest, or some of it, is the change in setting makes a lot more difference than you would think it does. We're so used to there are really specific locations we see all throughout both season 1 and 2, and the change in like setting, it does make a bigger difference than you think it would.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't have anything to ground it.
Yeah, it feels a bit disjointed because we don't know the places.
Yeah. I also I miss the characters that ground it as well. Like, I miss Price, I miss Zella. I miss those comedy moments. Made it feel, not necessarily made it feel realistic, just made it feel more grounded and in reality kind of thing. Obviously can never be probably realistic because Hannibal is a superhuman in this world, and apparently is uncatchable, which I only know some people are, but yeah, I feel I really miss. It could be just probably me saying a roundabout way of saying I miss Price and Zella and their antics, but I think I need a little bit. I think I need a little bit of comedy in my very serious things, and as much as Hannibal's and Bedelia sometimes bring it, or the other characters bring it, I just you miss those two characters that you can always rely on to give you a bit of a break and kind of absorb everything that has happened so far within an episode.
There's another thing I wanted to say at the start of this before I continue is a correction from me. Is that in the last episode, or the episode before, I can't remember. I suggested that Chio doesn't really mention Lady Murasaki. I was wrong. She does in this episode. This is proof that I know season 3 the least well, and we'll probably get a bunch of that because I don't know this season back to front anywhere near as much as I do the other two. However, I did also notice that she says that when she met Hannibal, he came alone when he was supposed to come with his sister. That makes no fucking sense, because then how was she involved in the guy who killed Bisha?
Oh, yeah.
If Bisha wasn't there. So I'm calling bullshit on continuity there.
Oh.
Right, with that out of the way, this episode is titled Contorno. A contorno is a side dish that usually comes after secondo in an Italian meal, and it often accompanies the main meal. It's usually vegetables that can be either raw or cooked, hot or cold, served on a separate dish. So not a super exciting one, but something. So whenever I look at my talking points this episode, I'm like, why the fuck is this first one so long? But apparently I just wrote a lot. So the first talking point is... early in this episode, we see Hannibal and Bedelia standing together in their night clothes, with Bedelia in a robe and Hannibal shirtless with pyjama bottoms. I've mentioned to you both that Brian Fuller confirmed that this is supposed to be post-coital, and confirmation that they were having a sexual relationship, though some of the old social media posts on this are now hard to find, or some are deleted. I've spoken to fannibals, and some were unaware of this. Some assumed they were having sex regardless, and some, like me when I first watched the show, totally missed that implication even with the intimate context. I fear I might have planted the idea in your head too early to get a truly personal answer, but I was wondering if you saw the scene as romantically or sexually intimate, and also just how you feel in general about their relationship, given our reactions to how frightening Hannibal was in the first episode and how bad you felt for Bedelia then.
But I don't say I wouldn't say if I didn't get it planted in my head, I can't say that I would 100% think that they were having coitus until this moment. I think that this episode would have been like, okay, they're fucking. Like, only until this episode I would have been going. The previous episode I wouldn't be able to tell, because I would be like, Bedelia is way too afraid of him to do that. And I feel like if Bedelia didn't want to, Hannibal wouldn't push it so much. I don't think he's that much of a bad guy. I think he's a bad guy in other ways, just not in that way.
Yeah, no, Hannibal doesn't have any interest in violating people's consent.
Yes.
This is a canonical thing.
Yeah, this is a canonical thing. So that's exactly what I would be thinking. But yeah, at this episode, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, they're definitely having sex. Like I think I would have 100% picked it up on that moment. I was like, oh yeah, that in itself felt like they just post coitus thing.
So, my general thoughts for this, in all honesty, peace and love, I'm too fucking sapphic for this. Man's trousers were so fucking hanging down, they might as well have just been hooked on his dick like a fucking coat hook. Like we were basically just about to see dick and balls.
I don't think
might
it
as well have
actually
just
is that low. I think he just has a really defined pelvic V, and it makes
They
them
were
look super low.
They were low. They knew exactly what they were doing. They were giving the fandom what they want. They were giving the girls and the gays what they want. They were giving the girls and the gays what they want, but they weren't thinking about the girl gays. I didn't want it. No, I'm joking. I don't know. I think I'm similar to Shaira. I don't know if I would have thought that, but at the same time, just the way that everything is so complex, I'm not gonna say. I don't know. Like I'd like to maybe think I would, but I also could have just been like, maybe not. I would have thought that there was something going on, at least, because I think the way that it is very suggestive. But at the same time, are we saying this because we kind of preemptively knew this technically?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of their relationship and how I'm feeling about Bedelia, I think, in all honesty, I still feel bad for her because, like, the fact that this isn't necessary, like, Hannibal will see no gain from this other than, like, he's got his dick wet because he felt like he had a set me. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was just like, oh yeah, I've got a woman here, like, I might as well. If she's into it, I'm into it, let's go. Like, kind of thing. It's like very casual sex for him. But like, there's clearly something for her because, like, you know, she's always saying, like, I feel very, like, aware of my actions and what I'm doing. Like, she's always saying, like, you know, like, I'm not being controlled by him. Like, I'm doing what I want to do. So it's almost like, is he keeping her in that way of just like any other relationship where people are like where people are like shagging, and it's like one person might be only staying around because it's a way that she can connect with him, and maybe she feels like maybe she has a little bit of like feelings for him or something, because you can sort of see that she goes from like soft to sort of very emotionless at times in her face. Like, her facial expression changes so much when she's talking to him about certain things, and I feel like I still feel just as bad for her, because I feel like regardless of whether it's like mentally through the ways in which we've seen Hannibal control people mentally before, or her actual literal feelings, like, I feel like he's still holding her on for something. Like, she's helping him. And yeah, I just feel bad for her still.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's completely valid. I think in terms of like the interpretation of their relationship, as I say, when I first watched this, I didn't think. Well, I thought it was like romantic, but not like explicitly sexual.
Yeah.
But now that I watched this episode upon reflection, not even just with knowledge, but just from actually properly watching it and looking at it, I'm like, I feel like an idiot. Because they're in their night clothes and he's like touching his hair and putting his hand on her shoulder and the small of her back. It's like there's literally no way that they're not fucking.
It's really giving like we've just had sex, like for sure. In those kind of things like what you just said.
But yeah, I think just, I don't know, sometimes if you're not thinking about it, you don't pick up on it. But also, I wasn't watching very well the first time I watched. But some people never do, and some people are like really surprised if you mention or suggest that they were having sex, which I think is really interesting because I don't think there is a right or wrong answer. I think however people view it is fine. And I think Bedelia is kind of a bit of all of the above of every interpretation, because in a way she's a little bit like Will in the sense that yes, she's definitely a victim, but that doesn't mean that she's not necessarily in control or trying to manipulate a situation. I think she is potentially both. I think yes, she probably does have some sort of feelings for Hannibal. Otherwise, I don't think she would still be there. We have seen her try and escape and fail. But that doesn't change the fact that she could have a different attitude to him and she doesn't. And I don't know if part of that is like because she's a psychiatrist and therefore she's convinced that somehow she just says the right thing, she will have like control over the situation. Because I think she's constantly analysing him like non-stop. So I think she's also constantly trying to work him out. So I think Bedelia is interested in Hannibal even if she doesn't want to be. But as you say, she's still a victim. She still shouldn't be there in the first place. So, let's talk about Inspector Patsy. Poor Patsy. What did you think of Patsy's decision to try and turn in Hannibal for the bounty instead of pursuing it through official means, given his history of wanting to catch Il Mostro for so long?
I think it was the most dumbest idea ever. What the hell?
I also think that's exactly why he did it, though. Like, I think he feels the same way a lot of people have that have been affected by Hannibal. They want a just revenge. Like, they want something that feels like justice was gained for themselves personally. Like, these people have certain history and a story, a lore behind everything. And I think that's exactly why he wanted like a bounty on him, like just to get as much revenge and justice as possible. I feel like
yeah, valid, but I still just kind of I get it, but I also like, what the hell? That's just idiot move. You're gonna die. Like, we clearly know he's kind of a he clearly know that he's tricky and just going on and as his own. But you know, sometimes things like that do make you very much again words very much desperate. That's the word.
Yeah, I agree with you, to be honest. I do think it was dumb as fuck. But I kind of understand why. Yeah. A lot of emotions you just sort of do before you think. Yeah.
We get quite a lot of character insight in this episode from his conversation with Jack at the dinner table, where he kind of suggests that he's been forced into jobs he doesn't want to do that don't reflect his previous like accolades.
Yeah. So
he's not just frustrated at Hannibal. I think he's kind of frustrated with life because he didn't catch Il Mostro. I think his job kind of went to shit. So I think that's why he does something so idiotic. He's kind of at the point where like, well, if the police aren't going to serve me, I'm going to serve myself.
Yeah.
Even though it was an incredibly stupid thing to do, yeah.
Yeah, and got himself killed.
Yeah, that's like, he shouldn't have done it, but you can kind of get why. I have some really random trivia that I'm now going to look at and remind myself of.
Yes, please, my throat hurts.
I'll read things to you.
Yes, please.
Her name is never said in the episode, but Inspector Patsy's wife's name is Allegra. When Patsy compliments his wife and marriage, she says La Vita Nuova, That means the new life, and it's also the name of a text by Dante, who, of course, Hannibal is an expert on. The text is of courtly love poetry that, interestingly, was left unfinished when Dante's lifelong love, Beatrice, died. So there's a reflection on Jack in that as well. Also, I just found this out randomly. I've never seen anyone mention it in relation to Hannibal, but the writer Allegra Goodman wrote a short story called La Vita Nuova, which has Dante's translated words interspersed throughout the piece. So I don't know if that's why she was called Allegra in the script, but that would make sense as a cool little trivia thing.
That is very cool, actually.
I've never seen anyone mention it, so I don't know. We get a non-Hannibal dish in this episode. So Patsy's wife said, would anyone like to tell me what Patsy's wife serves?
If I could see it written down.
Yeah, Shaira said it many times.
Was it a pasta? Is it a pasta? Is it a pasta?
Pappardelle.
It's pappardelle. It's delle. Yeah, it's pappardelle alla lepre.
Pappardelle.
Nice.
So it's a lepre is rabbit. So it's a Tuscan dish of hare braised in red wine with aromatics, carrot, onion, celery, and herbed with parsley, bay, and fennel. Janice Poon opted to show the hare instead of you can't really see it in the scene, unfortunately, because they don't do like the Hannibal close-ups on the food. But she opted to show the hare instead of having it mixed in with the pasta, which is how it would normally be served, to showcase that Allegra is a nice, normal person using non-human meat.
Yeah.
Janice Poon struggled to source rabbits for it, but did manage to scrape enough together. She also struggled to source figs for Alana to present to Mason, but she decided to keep her secret on how she found those out of season. Just randomly in her blog, she's just like, I'm not going to tell you that.
That's so funny. Have any of you guys had rabbit before?
No, actually.
Yes. Yummy.
Yeah, same. What did you think of it, Shaira?
Chewy, a little bit gammy, but
yeah,
okay.
Like it was quite a rich flavour that like I felt like at the time that I had it. So my she used to actually be my A-level tutor. She's now my friend. She's from Malta, and she made like a Maltese dish with the rabbit in it, and it was really lovely. It was just I think that the flavour of the rabbit, like you said, quite gamey, that after a while it was quite intense. So I could eat like just a small amount, and then I was like, I kind of don't. It was very rich. It's sort of like having like a rich dessert or something that like after a while it becomes quite an overwhelming flavour, which was a shame because I really enjoyed it, but I couldn't finish it.
It's very good in small portions, I find.
Yeah,
but
for
it's
sure.
Not that great in terms of having a big meal for me as well.
Yeah.
100% get what you mean.
Absolutely, which I would assume it's like a bit more expensive. So if anything, that makes a lot of sense.
I think it's like a lot of things where it's like peasant food that used to be more readily available, and now because it's not and it's not farmed as much, it becomes expensive.
Yeah.
There's a lot of food like that which should be cheap and isn't now.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird how we treat meat. I didn't do a talking point on this, but I realised I have quite a few little notes on it. So I'm going to go on to that before we go on to the next talking points, which is we saw Alana again this episode.
Hot.
Yeah, I was about to say Shaira was excited to see Alana again. I don't know if either of you have anything to say about the Alana and Verger scenes.
Like, I was like, oh, she's so pretty and cute. And then I thought, and not because, and like,
he's hot as fuck, bro.
She's so pretty, but he is so disgusting. Like,
like I said, he looks like a triceratops. He literally looks like a fucking dinosaur.
His looks aside, his soul is disgusting. His soul is horrible. And
but that's why, it adds to it. Like, he just looks like an evil man.
Yeah, they've now made his attitude like fit his appearance. It's gross, Mason. So I get to ramble about the thing I've been waiting seasons for. One of the items presented to Mason Verger as Hannibal's taste in finery, but is not mentioned, but I spotted immediately the first time I saw it because I'm sad. It's the you two will know about this as well. Is the double layered box of Charbonnel et Walker Pink Marc de Champagne truffles?
Oh,
Because that box is next to me on the little thing in front of my computer. I have that exact box sitting here because I saw it, was like, I know what that is. I must now own it in my home.
don't, because
So-
I could literally like eat a box of them now.
I was talking, but I had myself muted, unfortunately. But yeah, I 100% understand you. I get you. Yes, and I saw it as well, and I noticed it. I was like, oh, when you first mentioned that you're getting it from an episode in the near far future. Because I think we talked about it in season 1. Melissa was raving about it, and I have yet to try it. I have yet to try those chocolates, and I have to.
We
at one
Try.
We will
Literally-
source you chocolates.
point.
Yeah, I will get you some actually. I might as well. Like, I can very easily. There's loads of different flavors that are most of them are non-alcoholic. They just have a few that are alcoholic. Obviously, the ones in the episode. Yeah, they look so good. Obviously, the ones that ironically, these ones are like very famous anyway, which I'm assuming that the show probably would have made them have a bit of a boom. But that flavor, that the champagne one, the pink, iconic pink box, like everyone knows that brand for that specific flavor as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the flavor you always see in shops.
Yeah, and I think we discussed that it was cheaper. It's so much more expensive on their site than anywhere else.
Yeah, that's
Right,
normally the other way around. Normally, it'll be cheaper to get something from the source, not them. Nah.
No.
Yeah, no.
Amazon.
Yeah, for sure.
So silly.
Yeah, it's so.
Or
weird.
even
Weird.
Selfridges, where they will do like deals sometimes. They literally will sometimes do in-store deals that they won't necessarily do on their website, or vice versa, and it can sometimes be like way cheaper.
Potentially Waitrose as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I just pop into Waitrose then.
I was gonna say, or John Lewis.
Or John Lewis,
normally
that's
do
right. Yeah.
Anyway,
If you know someone that works there, you could get them. What's it called? You could use their discount. They have like 25% off or something.
I don't know.
Yeah,
anyone who works there.
John Lewis staff get good discounts.
Yeah, John
Yeah.
Lewis staff. Message me on Twitter. let me grab one of those.
If you work at John Lewis
Or
I'm kidding.
Waitrose.
or Waitrose, yeah,
Waitrose.
please
Both
get
of
in
them.
touch. Yeah.
Yeah, please get in touch.
I enjoyed looking through the scene and doing like random little bits of research. One thing is Alana says the plate is Glen French China from Tiffany. That's wrong. It's actually Gien French, which I believe is the correct name. It's correct in the script, so I think she misread the I as an L. It's not Glen French. Also, 2 of the items mentioned come from Christophe, which is a luxury French silverware and tableware company founded in 1830.
Wow.
I was super curious because Christophe is one of those brands that I know of, and I know that they're incredibly fancy, but I wanted to know just how fancy. So I went onto their website and I thought of the most random, simple thing I could think of, and it was chopsticks. So I looked up chopsticks that they do, and the cheapest chopsticks they sell are £90.
Oh, the silver
Wait, what's the
Japanese
name?
chopsticks.
Christophe, it's spelt Christoffel.
Yeah.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yeah, I just about them now.
The most expensive
Well, they have a
chopsticks they
UK
do.
store.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of branches in the UK. They're like in
nice.
London. The most expensive chopsticks were £315.
Oh, I want those
Whoa.
chopsticks.
Oh, they're lovely
engravable.
chopsticks.
Silver-plated black Japanese chopsticks, £90. You can get an engraving on them. That's enough for me.
They're lovely, but fuck spending £90 on chopsticks.
Yeah.
Someone take my bank account because I'm not a responsible adult. I'm not responsible. I have
On that-
2 cats.
On that reminder, I wanted new room chopsticks. So I'm gonna go buy some new chopsticks.
Oh my god.
See, I'm
This
being
is
helpful.
bad. I really
But
want
not for
them.
90 quid.
Oh, guys, stop it. Tell me to
looking
stop.
at-
I
Stop.
need
Stop
it.
looking. No, you don't.
Hey, I'm having a big birthday soon. I'm going to ask someone for my birthday.
£90 fucking chopsticks. Anyway.
Yeah.
Before we
I
go on to
must
the next
own.
talking point, I had another thing I'm going to mention before we carry on, because fuck it. There's a cut scene in this episode. I don't know if it was recorded. It's not available recorded. And I'm going to find it in my notes so I can actually tell you what the cutscene is. So in the script, there's a scene where Jack and Putsy go to the train station expecting Will Graham to go through there because they're expecting Will Graham to go to Florence.
Yeah.
But instead, Jack spots Bedelia on the CCTV footage, and he goes to try and accost her, but she flees before he gets the chance.
Oh, that's something that we don't actually get to see.
Nope. But in the script, in theory, Jack is aware that Bedelia is in Florence. But talking points. So, I rambled a little when we first watched the episode together, so apologies if I planted ideas. But a lot of people talk about how confusing they find this scene, so I wanted to know your thoughts. Why do you think that Chio kissed Will?
Oh my god. Can I just say, she pissed me the fuck off in this episode.
Did she? See, I thought she was
Yes.
just being smart. She was just trying to get him, disarm him, and then
Yeah,
push him off.
it's not that. That aside, it's just like, I'm not used to hearing voices outside of the ones in my head.
I mean, it's true.
Okay, I get it though. And they're like, they were saying something else that was like trying to be deep and like mysterious and poetic, but it was just kind of like it was just a bit too much. And then Will just like molding into it and being like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, bro, no. We sound like teenagers listening to My Chemical Romance. I didn't like it. And I loved I was a My Chemical Romance teen to the day that I die. But that's what they sounded like. And I was just like, all right, have a break.
Okay, I get you, but...
And then she kissed him and then shoved him off. And then the whole thing of him catapulting back with the whole, like, I feel like, oh my God, I'm hurting my throat. I'm getting really passionate. I feel like they were gagging to use a harness and whatever, and just have him like suspended in the air. I think the crew just did that for themselves. And they were like, let's get Hugh dancing some fucking harness and just spin him around for our enjoyment because fuck it, I can and why not? And fair, but
it
also
looks
like
really funny.
It looks so funny. It looks like an interpretive theatre take on something. It looked hilarious, but also took me out of it. But also, it was silly, and I enjoyed it in a good way. But I was like, why? That whole scene was very much like I feel like it kind of sums up the vibe of season 3. It was like, what the fuck is happening and why does it work? You know?
Yeah, I get that. But yeah, I think I just think he disarmed him, and it was. I didn't really think much of it. I think it was too short to think much of it. I think it was just there to kind of add a kind of journey, and then her pushing off like, oh, valid. He did fucking make you kill someone. So I 100% get it.
I'd be pissed off though. Like all my shit is on that train, and I'm just left without everything.
Yeah, valid.
All my stuff gone. I'd be fuming.
So, yeah, I get. There's always a very weird atmosphere when Chio and Will are talking. Like they've both suspended themselves in this weird like fairy tale.
Yeah.
And I like it, but I will say after this episode that now that she's pushed him off the train, that kind of stops.
Okay,
and
cool.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, I like it, but I'm also kind of glad it's finished now.
Yeah, it felt like they took like a very weird strain of shrooms or something,
Yeah.
and this was the only way that they could talk.
Yeah, it's very strange. I think they're both a bit too similar, and so they kind of bounce off one another. And it's like, to any outsider who walked in on that, they'd just be like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah,
because it's very weird. Regarding the kiss, I agree that it's a means of disarming because she does it before pushing him. I completely agree with that. However, I think there is an ulterior motive. I don't know if this is canon, but in my opinion, the script backs it up, which is that she's trying to tell him something, but he's just so fucking stupid, he's not getting it.
Oh, he's trying to tell Hannibal to kiss Hannibal.
Sort of, yeah, kind of.
Married Hannibal already.
in the train car, she says to him, there are means of influence other than violence.
Yeah.
Because he seems to be set on the idea that if he doesn't kill Hannibal, he will become like him. Bedelia is kind of doing the same thing to Hannibal by trying to convince Hannibal they need to kill one another.
Yeah.
Before she kisses him, she says it again. She says, I told you there are means of influence other than violence. And then she kisses him. She's trying to say, for fuck's sake, you don't have to kill each other. There are other ways. But Will is so set in his head he doesn't understand, even though she tells him twice.
Valid. Yeah, I get
that. That's why I think Chio kisses him. Because I think, and that's why she pushes him off the train, is Chio doesn't have anything against Hannibal.
Yeah.
Yes, he did something unpleasant to her, but her loyalty is not with Will, who freed her. Her loyalty is to Hannibal, who is her family.
Yeah.
So she's trying to say, like, you don't have to fuck this up, because Hannibal is the one I'm going to protect, not you.
Yeah. Okay, valid.
But I think Will is unfortunately a lost cause.
Yeah, well,
I mean, we'll see, but...
Classic stupid white boy trope.
Yeah, pretty much. But, oh yeah, I have to say it. Twiggity Swang, it's the Nightmare Stag. Were you happy to see our boy back?
No.
Yeah! Oh.
But he's
two different
our
people.
sweet little mascot.
I love the Twiggity Swag. Nightmare Stag.
Okay, tell me your reasoning. Shaira, why were you happy? Melissa, why were you not happy?
Don't know.
I was super happy because Bambi is one of my names, and I just like the Nightmare Stag, and also he's scary, he's horrifying, he's cool, he's wonderful. He represents Winston sometimes, and I'm like, oh, I like him.
Whether it's
he's
right
a cool
or
boy.
wrong, whether it's right or wrong to associate this, I, in my head, associate the Nightmare Stag with Will's syphilis, joking, encephalitis, and like him losing his mental and all of that. So I kind of am like, oh no, is he going back into, like, is this like an awakening of him, like going into a dark place again or something or whatever? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's just got betrayed. Like, is he gonna start getting like serious and shit? Like,
oh yeah, is the Nightmare Stag a indication of his becoming? I get that. Yeah, is that him becoming Hannibal, where Hannibal is the stag man, and he is the Nightmare Stag.
I like how you both completely disregarded my theory I explained in series 2 about the Nightmare Stag.
Yeah,
sorry,
but it
is only a theory.
It's only a theory, yes. But I like this Nightmare Stag. He's my boy, and I feel like he even represents Winston to me.
Well, and why does he represent Winston?
Because of that one episode where
why?
Because
he's always there for him. He's always looking out for him. He's always helping him when he's in trouble, when he's in need,
always
and like Winston did when he was.
Yeah.
Winston was next to him when Will had like walked all the way out, and police come up to him and been like, "Hey, bro, what are you doing here?" And he's like, "What the fuck? I don't know." And Winston was like right next to him.
Yeah, always a guiding presence.
Winston was the only dog standing outside Will's house when Mason Verger was inside it. It's not necessarily correct, but I associate the Nightmare Stag with the good part of Will, not the bad part. Yeah. Although I think being concerned about the association with encephalitis is a very good point. And I think it's natural. I think the series makes you... I mean, it's a big, scary, feathery stag, which is related to the very first murders in the very first episode. So I think your natural inclination is to think that's a bad sign. But the stag appears when Will has been thrown off a train and starts to walk down the track, and Will follows it. So I think it is that little part of his subconscious is like, okay, there was a setback, we get up, we carry on.
Yeah.
And
that's what I believe.
The idea that it will lead him to where he needs to go to carry on.
But where the fuck is bro going without a train? He's in bumfuck nowhere.
Well, considering he was on
no
a train, he's probably in Italy because he was on a train. So he's probably not in Lithuania anymore. So he's gonna go to Florence.
Well, at
Oh.
least in the train track.
Yeah,
That's
he's
his
walking
goal.
direct in the
Hey,
direction of which way the train's going.
This boy spent 6 weeks on the ocean sailing to Italy.
Yeah, but at least he was
I-
in a boat and had things with him, and like
I believe
he
that
hasn't
Will
got
is
anything.
capable of anything.
Survival.
Walking
He's
for
a survivalist.
hours in night.
Believe in Will. When Will has an idea in mind, he goes after it.
Yeah.
It's probably not always a good thing,
Mhm.
but it's what he does.
Yeah, and
Oh,
not everyone's
Just
imaginary friend is a happy go thingy. Even my back when I was a child, my imaginary friends used to be a kind of scary bird-like creature, and I was always happy to see them. So
I didn't have any imaginary friends,
No,
but
neither did I.
my sister used to imagine a one-eyed parrot, but it was more of an imaginary enemy because she would point it out and scream. So that's
Aw.
fun. That's a fun fact about my sister. She was being haunted by an imaginary one-eyed parrot.
That's wild. That's
Aw.
really awesome.
Shaira and Felix's sister-in-law. Mine was an imaginary bird with broken wings and kind of bleeding a little bit, but still
Scary
able to
birds.
float. Still able to float. It was black, and it was my friend because
Oh, Marie's
were
was
ta-
not her friend.
we would talk to it. I would talk to it.
She used to get people to try and get it down off of roofs and stuff because she would freak out.
Aww.
Anyways,
I liked my bird friend. I miss my bird friend.
Marie really didn't. Next talking point. We get a slightly more unusual, very visceral tableau in this episode, with Hannibal reenacting one of Patsy's ancestors, I can speak, by hanging him with his guts spilling out. Thoughts on this?
Lol.
I
Jack the Ripper.
Little bit.
I don't think there was any poetism. I can't say it. But yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was any. I think it was overshadowed by the fact that we see Jack and the fight straight afterwards. But yeah, there was not much thoughts of it. It didn't become sudden. It didn't. I think with most deaths we see the aftermath of it. And the tableau just hanging there, and someone else, and it's being witnessed in someone else's eyes, which is right now Jack, but we don't really get to see it in the daylight, in like a crime scene. So it came and went.
That's kind of why I like it.
Mm.
I really like Patsy's death and how he is technically a tableau. Because it's simple, it's to the point, but Hannibal still makes a point of having to kill him in an artistic way that represents something to do with him.
Yeah,
but it's also incredibly brutal and fast. And one, we've never seen Hannibal do a tableau before. Two, I highly doubt he normally does it like that, because it's always this idea that it's something quite elaborate. And this isn't elaborate, but it's still artistic at the same time, because it's the same as the imagery he showed Patsy.
Yeah.
So I like it. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I didn't say I didn't like it. I think it just didn't remain in my mind too long.
How many other tableaus get a camera point of view shot? We get to see a camera from the inside of Patsy's guts at one point.
That's true.
That's one of my favourite things about this stupid episode. Any additional thoughts on guts, Melissa?
No, sorry, my throat is like killing me, and I feel like
very valid.
Yeah, I feel like my voice is a bit like clearer because I've been downing Lucozade, but it is absolutely killing me. I thought it was like very dramatic, and it was almost a little bit like, I don't know, he just like put him out, and like I feel like the overly CGI'd thing kind of took away from it a little bit.
What
like
overly CGI'd thing?
Patsy, like when he's like bouncing and there's like the shot.
It's not CGI. That's like a mannequin.
Oh my god, that looked terrible. They did
the face is like a bit too pale and stuff. I think it's meant to be because he's just suddenly had a shit ton of blood loss, but it doesn't look like Patsy.
No, it doesn't. No.
It just
I'm pretty sure that's like a model.
Okay,
or not a model, a full-sized mannequin. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was crazy. It just looked very. It looked very. I don't know how to explain it. Very fake. Very sort of not in the style of the rest of the show, in a way. I
I
feel like
like it.
I liked it because it was weird, and I was a bit like, oh, okay, just bouncy and just all I
The
remember is
bouncy.
bouncy and
Boom, 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 boom.
yeah,
And
messy.
I didn't think much of it. I think the game went too quickly. for
Yeah,
me
well,
to
you're both
process
wrong. It was awesome. So,
it.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm going to ramble about some more things before we go on to the next talking point thing, the things that I say. Just so I've got some other little bits of trivia both before that scene and during this scene. So there is a prop mistake in this episode. When it shows Putsy looking at Hannibal's warrant on his computer, because it lists Dr. Roman Fell as a known alias for Hannibal on the document, but at this point in time, it's not a known alias. They don't know that he's pretending to be Dr. Fell. So that was a prop silly. The warrant also lists Hannibal's birth year as 1965, which is Mads Mikkelsen's birth year. So that's kind of cute. It's a fun little detail. And the warrant is in Italian, so out of curiosity, I typed the bottom details into a translator because I'm nosy and I've not seen anyone else mention it, so I wanted to know what it said. So I translated it, and it says, Dr. Lecter speaks several languages, including French, Italian, and Latin. He is well educated and has expensive tastes. He is drawn to culture and loves to surround himself with educated and wealthy people. Dr. Lecter is well furnished and usually very well dressed. He keeps his hair in order and is usually shaved.
Nice.
So those are his fun little details to help people catch it.
I still can't get over how bad the image is. Like,
It's
God damn it!
really weird image. Like, where did they get that from? Where was it taken?
Where did they get that
Why-
image from? Exactly.
Why is it so close up? Why is it blurry? Why is the
Yeah.
flapper? It kind of looks like
The
he
lighting's
took an
weird.
It looks like he took an accidental selfie on someone's camera on a night
Yeah.
out.
I couldn't believe Hannibal would let himself even look bad in a mugshot.
I think this is someone who even has like a good passport photo. I don't.
Yeah.
This is so weird.
Yeah, it's like, come on. He might be an evil bastard, but he's a hot evil bastard.
I wrote down here in my notes, silly little script difference. In the script, Hannibal is eating a pear, not an apple. Now, I wrote that because everyone thinks it's an apple in this scene, but the more I've watched it, I think it actually is a pear. I'm not 100%.
I didn't notice that. I need to go back and watch it if it is.
Everyone says it's an apple and refers to it as an apple because he eats an apple with a knife in another. I think possibly King Arthur or something. He does that. But I think it might actually be a pear. I swear at one point you see it in a funny shape. Anyway.
Okay, so I didn't pay as much attention to it. I was just assuming he was eating a fig, whereas where we get
it looks nothing like a fig. We see the inside of it. It's white.
I know. I'm not. I didn't even look at it. I just assumed automatically it was a fig because what we saw previously was Alana showing the fig. Yeah,
and we do see a little clip of him eating a fig as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just automatically thought it was another fig. So I didn't actually pay attention to what he was eating.
What fruit is Hannibal eating?
I was too busy looking at his face.
Mine. Sorry.
Also, Patsy brings Hannibal a Scold's bridle, as he's a curator of torture devices. So obviously, because I am me, I did a very quick little Google on Scold's bridles. They originate from the mid-1500s, but they were used into at least the 17th century, and they were basically used to punish women for their troublesome mouths. So,
these things, yeah.
Yeah, they're basically an excuse for misogyny, is what a Scold's bridle is.
Oh my god, the last photo that you showed us is awful.
I put a few images of different kinds of Scold's bridles into our Discord. With
the fucking ovaries? That's insane.
Ovaries, I have to remind myself, I haven't seen it.
It looks like ovaries.
Oh, it does look like ovaries.
It does look like ovaries, but I think
it's
it's the strap part.
It's like, look at this. Yeah,
it probably ties behind the head, but it does look like ovaries. So it works by gagging the person because the cage keeps a metal piece in the person's mouth, but the reason it gags them is because the piece that goes into their mouth is usually sharp or spiked, so if they try and move or speak, it'll cut their mouth. So that's how that works. Let's go on to our last talking point before I give you my one final piece of trivia. So, I must now ask about my favourite scene, and one of my favourite scenes in the entire show, in fact. You were both so uncertain and alarmed when you first watched it that I had to try and reassure you that Jack would be fine. So now that you've watched it again with that knowledge, how did you feel about the Jack and Hannibal fight scene at the end of this episode?
Just a quick disclaimer that just because you say something doesn't mean it's true or that we can trust you. So the fact that you reassured us that Jack would be fine, that means nothing to me at this moment in time.
It felt nothing to me.
But you do know that now, though, because you've seen it.
Yes.
All right. It was funny. It was very comical. It was very like black and white movie, almost the Charlie Chaplin type vibes, because the music was like taking the piss out of them.
The music is perfect.
I was
Silly
very
boys playing and doing a bit of rough and tumble.
I was very happy.
Cool. That's
Yes.
It's one of my favorite scenes. I could talk about it. The music is so funny. It makes it very cartoonish, but it's brutal at the same time.
Yeah.
Is it brutal? I feel like they were like flopping around like fish out of water.
Jack slams his arm into a torture wheel. He gets a hook shoved into his back. He gets bashed in the face with a hook.
Yeah.
He gets pushed through glass about 3 times. He's covered in blood.
Yeah. I think it was
his leg gets injured.
Yeah.
How many times do you think Felix has watched that scene? Let us know.
I was really happy though to see
some people enjoy pornography, okay? I
enjoy this scene.
I have to get my kicks somewhere, okay?
Hey, I enjoyed the scene. I enjoyed the bastard getting beaten up.
He's my sweet baby boy, but sometimes he really deserves a beating.
Sometimes. A lot of the time.
Okay, most of the time, he really deserves a beating. So on that note, I will give you my final piece of trivia, which is, do you remember that I mentioned to you that it was Mads Mikkelsen who suggested that Jack be the person to overdose Bella in the script?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This episode explains why. It was so that Hannibal could predict it and use it to taunt Jack in that scene.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he was just like, let's make Hannibal more of a cunt.
Oh my god, okay. That's kind of perfect.
It's horrible, but it's really good. It's a really good little script amendment so that they can be like, yeah, let's make Hannibal really mean in this moment.
That's fucking perfect.
It's so good, so that Hannibal can be a smug little bastard. And it gives, I think, more juice to Jack being like, I've stopped giving a fuck, I'm just going to beat the shit out of you now.
Spoilers.
Wait, what spoilers?
Nothing.
What? I said that
you'll find out soon. You'll find out soon.
How could I? Oh, well, one of your favorite moments or something. God damn it! Don't say that. You made me think I've accidentally made a spoiler by accident.
Same. I was so confused.
I had a small panic attack there.
I'm sorry. Giving panic attack to everyone. Hey, this is the comeuppance for giving me continuous panic attacks.
Don't blame me. Blame the show. It's not my fault.
Okay, that's true.
The only other thing I wanted to say, I don't have the script. I need to bring the script up quickly. But another interesting thing about this scene is we know that Hannibal is a little bit OP, overpowered, gets away with shit too easily. I'm going to try and find it in the script. 1 second. There we go. When it's got Jack throws Hannibal, who falls against the braking wheel, it says, Hannibal stares at Jack, blood staining his teeth. Jack slams Hannibal with his fist again and again. Hannibal's head rocking back against the wheel, arms strained to the breaking point, but he lets the blows come. Because basically, then later it's Hannibal. Hannibal lands, face stung with 100 tiny cuts, not even trying to fight back. He slowly gets to his feet and begins to limp away half-heartedly.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's not just that Jack is being really badass and beating the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Hannibal isn't fighting back.
It's like, I'm broken-hearted, just kill me already.
Oh yeah,
Release me from this pain.
In my view, it's a combination of he's still hurting, and which is why we've seen him being so reckless.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is another step of that recklessness, but I think it's also to do with what he's been discussing with Bedelia. You know, her idea that him and Will are both lying in wait to kill each other.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, Hannibal let him live once. He probably doesn't want to kill Will. He just has this idea planted in his head that he has to.
Yeah.
So I think there's this idea of, well, if Jack gets carried away and kills him in that moment, he won't have to kill Will.
Yeah, exactly.
and it's sad. It's justified, you know. He deserves to be beaten up, but it's also quite sad that one of the reasons he's getting that hard of a beating is because he's just not bothering to actually defend himself.
Yeah. Which I'm kind of glad, but at the same time, God damn it, it's not as savable if you don't fight back.
Well, no comments. The thoughts I have on other things. So, let's move on to our ending bits. Give me your favourite quotes, please.
Brilliant. So my favorite moment is one
Quote.
where
Quote.
oh, sorry, quotes. Yes, my favorite quote is one where it's what I said about the spoilers is what I was mentioning about the spoilers, and that was because I loved how sassy Hannibal was in this moment. So my favorite moment quote. I think that threw me off. I brought Bella back from death, and you returned her to it. Is that what you're taking? Is that where you're taking me, Jack? It's like, oh my god, you're such a bitch, such a little bitch, and I love it. It was just super fun.
He is.
Hello.
Hi.
My favourite quote is when Bedelia says to Hannibal, "Someone put a price on your head," or something along those lines, just because it sounded nice when she said it. That's all.
So random, bless you.
Yeah.
My favorite quote, it's one of my favorite quotes in general, in this show is Bedelia saying to Hannibal, "Almost anything can be trained to resist its instinct. A shepherd dog doesn't savage the sheep," and Hannibal says, "But it wants to." I just really like that. Because, yeah, they're just always talking about Will. Have you noticed how whenever Hannibal is having an intimate relationship, all they ever do is talk about Will? Anyway.
I was thinking at the time, they cannot keep this guy's name out of their damn mouth. No one can.
Same as when he was with Alana.
All the time.
in bed and talking about Will. That's Hannibal's idea of a good time. Favourite moments, please?
Wait, my favorite moment, honorable mention quickly, is to the part where they're talking about Bella while Jack is in the house with the detective and his wife, and that's because it felt a bit of an homage to Bella, because all three of them went to Bella, 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 and that was really fun. And my favorite moment is altogether is the one where
you say it all together. I have no idea what you're going to say.
Oh, sorry. My favorite moment is just where Hannibal gets beaten up, because it's just amazing.
Sweet.
The only thing that I've written for my favourite moment is 2 words. Detective Sexy Lana.
What?
That's it. So when she's being like, "Oh, there's been reports of a blonde woman ordering this, and this, like in this place. It's Bedelia, blah, blah, blah." I was like,
that makes sense.
Sexy Lana Detective. Comma Detective.
I love that.
Yep, that's my favourite moment, because
Hell yeah.
she's sexy as fuck. Why she's with Mason, still don't really get it, but
She's got a vendetta.
fuck it.
She's got a vendetta.
Yeah.
She wants to get Hannibal.
She was a bad girl. She did some bad things. If anyone knows that I'm referencing Karma's a bitch or whatever by Jojo Siwa.
if there's any reference in this world I'm not going to get, it's that.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna not get it from Jojo Siwa.
That's just the way that the song.
Jojo Siwa, but you know.
It's the way that no, neither do I. It's the way that the song starts. That's why I said like Alana was a bad girl and she's done some bad things. So it's just, being stupid basically.
My favorite moment, I decided not to put the fight scene because you already know it's my favorite. So I actually put Hannibal whimsically torturing Patsy. Because he's happy, he's being a dick, he's getting to do what he loves, which is just torture someone. He's a happy little twat on the phone to Alana. I just really like that whole scene before the fight goes down. I love unhinged, unrestrained Hannibal.
quotes on the whimsically.
Look, I use the word whimsical with Hannibal a lot because I think it's one of the most Hannibal appropriate words. He's very
Okay.
whimsical.
Okay, yeah, I get that. I get that.
I would like your next episode predictions, please.
Yay! So I don't actually have any predictions, because I don't know. But here's just a random one that I just thought of. Will, after getting pushed off of that off the train, goes, fuck it. I can't be bothered with this. Gets back on his boats and sails the world, and forgets that this all happens. All of this happens. Hannibal, while waiting for Will, goes, screw it. I'm gonna rebuild my cannibal family, and
Somehow it found its way back there.
somehow it found its way. Exactly, cannibal family. I can rebuild my cannibal family and happily ever after, but apart. Done. The end.
That's fair. I mean, I think that would be a happier ending for Will, to be fair. So
yeah.
yeah, that's valid.
Yeah.
I think someone's getting it up the bum. Don't know who.
That is always my hope, to be fair.
Yeah. And I want to see it graphically. I want softcore.
You can't say softcore and graphically in the same sentence.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
Pick one.
both. Oxymoronic. I'm an oxymoron.
It could start out as softcore and then turn into hardcore.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hannibal,
whatever you want, darling.
Hannibal, be more like Interview with the Vampire. Show us more intimate scenes.
Oh, if Hannibal were made today.
Yes.
Right. Oh my god.
It'd be, if only we could somehow have the actors at the same age right now doing it now.
I want
Season 4,
to
come.
see them do it like that one scene in Blue is the Warmest Colour. That's the kind of like raw that I want to see.
I haven't seen that in a very long time. I remember fuck all from that film.
Oh my god, it's like I learned that they most likely used fake fannies because obviously you're not allowed to do real sex in a film, otherwise it's considered an adult movie.
It depends how it's portrayed, because there's real sex in Antichrist.
But they're scissoring like in front of your face.
Okay,
it was
in that
great.
case, yeah,
Baby
probably
Gay
fake
Me.
matches.
Baby Gay Me was having the time of her life. She was like, "Oh my god, this is the world that I am in, and I'm so happy about it."
Yeah.
But then I learned that they probably, I think I read somewhere that they had like fake fanny molds or whatever, and I was like, "Damn it!" But also fair.
Kind of amazing in a weird way. It's kind of
They use that in a lot of sex scenes where they have like protection, not like proper fake fanny molds, but you know.
I mean, normally it's just camera angles and like very small.
Yeah, no,
bits of
this is
clothing.
a French film, so you know they're just
Yeah.
showing it to you. They don't give a fuck.
French films. My next episode predictions are that Patsy will join the ever-growing zombie horde.
Woo!
Okay.
Zombies.
Yep. There's been a few
got
in my
you,
last few. Yeah, I've had a few in my last few predictions, and I feel like the numbers are just going up. You know.
Well, they eat people too. They can join Hannibal Cannibal family.
God damn it. Right, are you ready for my sign-off?
Yes, please.
Yes.
The next episode makes me cry like such a bitch. There's that painting too. Fate and Circumstance is an independent podcast brought to you by Felix Fanfaron Fern, Melisa Suzan, and Shaira Bambi. You can find and follow us on Twitter and Tumblr at HannibalPod. We are fans of the show NBC's Hannibal and do not own the rights to any of the materials discussed, merely appreciators. The music used in this podcast is Tchaikovsky's Op. No. 40 Waltz by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. Thanks for listening.